Hey everybody and hello humans. This is Not Robots, DC comic review show, focusing exclusively on Future State for the duration of the event. This week we are covering Future State, Superman vs. Imperious Lex, Aquaman, Legion of Superheroes, Dark Detective number 2 featuring a backstory with Red Hood, Suicide Squad number 1 featuring a backstory with Black Adam, and Future State Batman Superman. You'll be able to catch mini episodes covering additional DC titles and comic publishers with Not a Robot Comic Quick Bites. Access to our bonus content is only available to our Patreon community, who will get access to all things Not a Robot starting at just $1 a month at patreon.com/notarobotpodcast. My name is Josh, and as always, helping me bring this podcast to you are my co-hosts Jared.
Victory is mandatory.
And Reed.
Cowabunga, my dudes.
We summarize, analyze, and editorialize every issue we cover and strive to keep it all about the content with no publisher influence. We are on Twitter. I'm at Not a Robot Show. Reed is at GH_Reed, and Jared is honeybadger_bot. And we all answer show mail sent to notarobotpodcasts@gmail.com. The next part is dedicated to those that support us with their hard-earned money, but that's not the only way that you can. Like, subscribe, download, and share our episodes as much as possible, because nothing helps out quite as much as that, everybody.
But we do like that money.
We do like that money. And now is the time to say a gigantic thank you to the people who help us support this podcast and all the rest of ours.
It's all it takes.
They subscribe to our Patreon, some for as low as $1 a month, so that we can make sure we keep bringing you even better content. This is the Not a Robot Anti-Beatbot Must Be a Human shout out and roll call. And this shout out goes to our humans Weird Science Jim, Blue Mondays, Hollister, Torpedo Face, and Rock Crockett. We got a couple of you subscribing at above the $1 a month level, getting access to even more content, and our Slack channel as well. You guys can get in there, talk to the members of Not a Robot. So a big salute to all of you and an even bigger thank you. So what are you waiting? Sign up and show us you just might be a human after all, and get a shout out on the Not a Robot Anti-Beatbot Must Be a Human roll call. So anything new this week, guys? Reed, any dog puke lately?
No, he's doing okay. But I have been petting a virtual pup. I've been playing Hades on my Switch, and I love that game.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Sir Briskin, a little scritch. He's a big boy. He got 3 heads. Thrice the scritches.
Oh, yeah. What's new in your neck of the woods, Jared?
I rearranged the house so it actually feels like it's productive.
Right on. That's important.
I feel that I've been upgrading my basement layer. Just got a brand new desk, so got a new angle here, a little webcam. we're having fun, tons of interior decorating fun. Some real world Animal Crossing, baby.
Hey, you can't go outside because of Corona and the cold.
Yeah. We just redid our living room and are making plans to turn our sunroom into like a library. So
hell yeah.
I guess we're all got a little bit of the, I'm telling you, it's this lockup stuff. We're getting creative now.
Yeah, send us your lockup project, y'all.
Okay, so let's get into the books. The first one up is both something we've seen many times before and something we're seeing for the first time. Priced at $3.99, written by Mark Russell with art provided by Steve Pugh and Romulo Fiardo Jr. and Carlos M. Mangual on lettering. The cover done by Yannick Paquette. We are at Superman vs. Imperious Lex. Jared, tell us all about it.
Well, the cover starts us off with the world's greatest humanitarian, Lex Luthor. But the art is so horrible, barely tell. Hold on to your seats. It doesn't get much better than that on the art. It has the United Planets, which has the Guardians from Ola conducting it, so they're obviously the foreman. The biggest takeaway I have from any of the comic is the line, "I love that new building smell." That has got to be one of the greatest comic book opening statements I can recall.
I love that new building smell.
The United Planets just got a new headquarters. Each planet in the United Planets has their own representative. Well, the one for Earth is no other than Lois Lane. She kind of throws it off under the rug and everything, saying that Luxor, it's a planet that Lex Luthor rules. It first made its appearance in Superman 164 all the way back in October of 1963. They were objecting to it, calling him a planetary villain, and most offensively, a cake thief.
Cake thief.
Right. I know there's got to be a story there. I'm going to have to go find it now.
Well,
right.
don't be stealing cake from Kirby. How that end?
Somebody's been playing a lot of Nintendo lately.
What can I say?
Well, just because there's so many different Supermen, I'm just going to refer to this one simply as Cal. Cal shows up, and he's been checking the Outer Rim, so apparently he jumped ship and went to Star Wars, because that's the only place I really remember the Outer Rim being. For solutions,
right.
For solutions to the energy crisis that's going on, all the shortages. He goes retelling the story of him going to all the dystopia planets, and he goes to one for reticulants. On one of the planets that Superman shows up on, reticulants end up, which look like robot snakes. Am I the only person that saw that and thought Hail Hydra?
It's like a robo-centipede snake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Reticulants, more like ridiculous. Am I right? Hey!
Exactly.
Hey.
Well, their sole mission is to lay waste to all indigenous people, whatever planet they land on, so they can try to milking out all the resources, whatever they can't reach to make the people do. Intro, the main man, Lex Luthor. Looks like he's wearing the full face mask and gloves, or hand protectants from his damage due to death metal.
Right.
He's in the bathtub. He does not get the same kind of treatment that Nightwing did when he did a shower scene, because he is looking like he's starring in Philadelphia while he's sitting in the tub. It goes into Kal destroying the robot factory on Luxor, which I just see, once again, as Superman coming to a planet and destroying that planet's only way of financial success.
Now, hey, let me ask you guys a question real quick. Obviously, Lex Luthor is drawn wearing a mask here, right? So, now, do you think that he is wearing that mask because of the damage that he sustained way back from death metal? Do you think that has carried over, like Jared said? Or is this, maybe, and this is, maybe just grasping here, but, I mean, he is seen playing with one of his own action figures. Maybe, is this just a vanity thing? Do you think that he doesn't have the scar under there anymore, or?
Well, if you look at it, there's a couple of different places. Like there's the pictures and then statues where they show vividly the same kind of weird seam because it looks like he's wearing like a full skull helmet. Because they do it weird. I think that he's like a robotic or something. I'm guessing he's like a Robo-Man.
I'm just guessing it has to do with vanity. Like in the original Fantastic Four, Doom didn't want to be seen with the side of his scar, and I believe when the mask ends up coming off, they're going to downplay the scar, so it's just going to be like a thin line, and then we'll see that slowly get smaller and smaller until they can start drawing him regularly.
Gotcha. That sounds about right.
Hey, you think about it, he's a billionaire who has a planet named for him.
Well, this is a while from whenever, though. It's future state. Yeah, when is this? Who is this? Where is this?
Obviously, it's quite a bit in the future because Lois looks like she's well into her 60s here.
I mean,
the only thing I have some problems with the fact that Superman looks aged here, and that doesn't make sense to me. I don't think that him and Lois would age at the same rate, though her and Luthor would.
Yeah, especially because he's old. Like, he's not even just like a little bit gray. He's already got past Gray Fox. He's just in it. He's just an old guy now.
So we don't know what all goes on between now and when Future State takes place. Maybe, he's been through some stuff and he's working out.
That's true. We don't know if this is before or after his time on Warworld, so I suppose that's a valid point. Okay, I'll take it. And
time passes differently on Warworld, so,
That's
might have
true.
only been a couple years here, might have been a couple hundred there.
That's very true.
Okay, pulling back to Luxor, Kal shows up and tells the people that you guys are living a lie. You guys, all your finances are built on other people's stuff. They react like people would normally react when you find out your world economy. They call him a liar, and he then debilitates the Protector. Lex destroys his armor. Attempting to kick him off yet another planet. Because the reason why he's on Luxor is because Superman won't let him be on Earth. They keep on harassing him.
Sounds like he might be a Lex apologist. I'm just saying.
I am a humanitarian, and I appreciate his efforts. Superman ends up talking to Lois and convinces her that no, although Luthor is a terrorist, his words, not mine, that him being in power is better for that planet. And the fact that there's billions of people there that are depending on him, that they need to end up making them a member.
That
so
does
Lois,
make it a sticky situation.
Yes, because you got billions of lives. Even if they're complacent, that's still, that's still pretty rough for a couple billion people paying for one guy's thing.
Yeah, you can say that again.
Well, Lois ends up talking everyone into giving Luxor the provisional membership in the United Planets, and then the bombshell drops that Lois has to be with them when they tell Lex about the situation. And that's where I think the art was okay. At best, the story goes so damn slow. Ugh. And the dialogue, I've heard more intellectual conversation from the stall next to me in the bathroom.
Yeah, and I don't imagine those can be quite stellar.
No, after everything weighed in, I have to give this a lonely 4.75 reticulants out of 10.
Dang, you dropped that one low.
The art is passable, but the story needs to pick up the pace. They need to get somebody better with the writing, or give them a Red Bull or something.
Give them a Red Bull or something. Got to do something. Pick up.
Yeah, I'm with you there. This one, this was a tough one. Yet it's a lot of pages, lots of drawings and stuff, but nothing goes on in this one. I'm gonna have to. I will say, right up until we started recording, I did just kind of like. I thought the issue was called Imperious Rex. I mean, Imperious Lex makes a lot more sense. But my brain just covered that one up there. But this one,
yep.
This is not great. This is a 4.5 out of 10 for me.
I feel like there's a lot of story here. I feel like it's kind of dense, but I don't think it's in a bad way. I feel like it's very different seeing Lex still being a villain, but having Superman and Lois stepping up to save him, or at least give him a chance. As far as the art choices go, is Lex being drawn with a mask because of the scarring, or is it because of him being older? That I feel like we could have got. It's bugging the shit out of me. So I
did love the abs comment. Give her this would have looked like a strong man.
But the Superman being drawn as aged, I do think that's inaccurate. Even if he experienced some traumatic stuff after Warworld, I don't think he would look quite as old as this. All in all, though, I mean, I definitely didn't dislike it as much as you guys. And I was going to give it a 7.5, but after listening to y'all, I mean, I am going to drop it a little bit because you guys have some valid points. But I gave it a 7. Well, I feel like we went from a very familiar kind of Superman story with a slightly different twist, and now we get to head into another story and some turns too, as we dive into the never-ending cosmic ocean and follow the adventures of some real fan favorites. I am talking about Future State Aquaman, priced at $3.99. Written by Brandon Thomas, with cover and art done by Daniel Sampier and Adriano Lucas, and letters by Clayton Cowles. 6 years ago, Jackson Hyde and Andy Curry, now going by Aquaman and Aquawoman, Andy will have none of that, Aqualasp, were training in the ocean and things went horribly wrong. They were mystically transported into the Confluence, an unending ocean that connects all of time with all of space. After bouncing around into different oceans on 6 different worlds, the 7th is where their luck runs out. There is a giant beast that protects the Confluence, and it attacks the two. Jackson falls away from the beast, but Andy is taken away. During the melee, she inadvertently cuts her lower leg off, and that's something she shares in common with her dad, losing limbs. Jackson was... Jackson was taken prisoner by an unidentified race of people and has attempted to escape nearly 300 times, all obviously unsuccessful. He's been a beaten man in captivity, believing that he let Andy die. This last escape attempt changes everything, though. It turns out that he saw the words Aqua Woman live spelled out by some light-bearing marine life. This gives him everything he needs in order to break his chains and set himself free. And now he's off to find Andy. As is the usual, Sampier's art meets and exceeds every single expectation I had going into the issue. It's gripping, engaging, fun. It's highly detailed in all the right areas. He's easily one of my favorite DC talents as far as art goes, and paired with Lucas's colors, This issue is truly beautiful to look at. The story shines in all the right places for me. Jackson Hyde is quite the capable Aquaman, and I've always loved that character. Up until now, Andy has only been a baby, but I like that little bit of the character so far that we've seen. She reminds me of her mother. I like the team, I really like the story, and I love the art. This one would be a must-buy for me, and I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. What did you guys?
Well, I'd want to start out on the cover, and Aqualass is drawn, or I guess inspired by Starfire from Young Justice.
A little, I could see that, but she won't have you calling her Aqualass. It's Aquawoman.
Okay, say it to my face. I'm going to say that the art was extremely good. I might not make reference to it often, but I think the lettering in this was done to perfection. Great spacing, and it's easy to read.
Mm-hmm.
Makes it pop off the page. I like it.
Clayton Cowles is fast becoming one of my favorite letterers.
With the art carrying it, the letter carrying it, the story, it does have some slow parts, but it picks up. I'm going to have to go along your lines of thoughts, but I'm going to have to get 7.5 tridents out of 10.
All right.
Not
too bad.
Did I see the trident? Just picked it out because of Aquaman.
No, I don't think we saw any tridents in there yet, but I'm sure one is bound to show up.
7.5 confluences out of 10.
There you
Aqua
go.
blades.
Aqua blades.
This one is. I'm not familiar really with this Jackson Hyde character, but that does not stop me at all from enjoying this book. I mean, it, like you guys were saying, it looks incredible. Like the colors are just so vibrant. It's so lush. This is exactly what you want to see in an Aquaman stuff. There's creepy creatures. There's different oceans. The scene with that big old beast and her and the leg and all that stuff, it is wow. That's really something there. Like the emotion and like the energy there is just really something else. And the final moment too, where he's walking towards them with these little aquas. There's everything to love in there, so there's nothing to hate. Except I just want to bring up one little thing.
You sound like you're going to enjoy saying this.
Yeah. I don't hate to say this because I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but okay, it kind of bugged me, but it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal at all. But at multiple times throughout the comic, they are shown wearing shoes and then also not wearing shoes. So when we start with
damn you, now I gotta look.
Yeah, Aqualad.
Yep,
so we see her at the very beginning, kind of here in the boat, and then so bare feet, okay, and then you go a little bit farther, and then they meet again, and oh no, her, it's not her. Okay, so hers is bare feet all the time. So I goofed up about that, but
no, you're not wrong.
No, you're not wrong because I'm looking at an underwater scene where she has thigh-high boots on.
Who told you that? My dad.
Yeah,
she's wearing boots. The next page, no boots.
Yeah, and then it's the same thing with Jackson. He's barefoot on in the very beginning, and then he's got boots on at the end. Like I said, not a big deal. Not, but like I mean, come on. That being said, sorry. All boots aside, this is great. I love it. I love all the characters. I didn't understand what was happening. When she cut her leg off, but then I flipped the page and I was like, what? That was right. I don't normally I'm not normally shocked by comic books, but that one did me a turn. So I'm going to rate this one fairly highly. This is a 8.25 out of 10.
You said you weren't familiar with Jackson Hyde. You might know him by a different name, Coldor, or
he went by Aqualad for quite a bit.
Aqualad, Waterboy, Coldor.
I see. This is future Aqualad. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought at first I thought it was like, is this some sort of Black Manta? But then they were fighting Black Manta. I didn't.
It's his kid, isn't it?
Yes, this is Black Manta's son.
Oh shit! Okay, so the comic's kind of like
raised by the Black Manta and trained by Aquaman.
All right, well there you go. Look at that, bring her all together.
Yep. Okay, wait a minute. I know because I know how to make you remember. We've read about this cat in the Aquaman comics recently, here just within the last couple of months. But this is the dude that has the giant Black Manta spaceship head that follows him around, and he calls Grandpa Jesse.
Okay, you're giving me a lot of credit to thinking I'm going to be able to remember some stuff that happens like last
2
week,
months
but
ago.
I do remember a little floating little black man ahead. So there you go. I guess you got me.
Yeah, so that's the guy. That's the guy that this that was following around.
Yeah, he all growed up.
Indeed, he is. All right, going into this, I don't think any of us knew really what to expect. It's definitely a different Aquaman and Aquawoman, but it's one, and I say Aquawoman in reference to Mara, but it's one that I could get used to really quickly, and that is some crazy ride that they have been on. Speaking of crazy rides, crazy is the word of the day for the next book. Written by Brian Michael Bendis with art from Riley Rosmo and Ivan Placencia with letters from Dave Sharp and the cover from Riley Rosmo. Read, take us on a trip through time with Legion of Superheroes.
Absolutely. Right before we get into it, I did not, before I posted this review on the site, I had no idea who wrote and drew it. Because I was like, oh man, I'm really, look at all these crazy characters. Wow, this looks nuts. And then I saw that, like, oh, okay. These guys, I see why I was the one to review this particular book.
Yeah, I had to give it to somebody who maybe possibly could put a positive spin on it.
Oh, and did I ever? Let's get into it. This next look into the state of the future, get it? Takes this one really lives up to the name, giving us a glimpse of the future's future. In this world, the Legion of Superheroes. Okay, so as with most of these stories, it's a view of the future, and things are not looking great. This one, in particular, the Legion has been disbanded. Daxam is in ruins, and the wider galaxy is asking the question, do we really need the United Planets? What have they done for me lately?
Eddie, what have you done for me lately?
Exactly. Now, not all seem to share the sentiment, as a ragtag group of heroes are doing their very best to get that cosmic band of heroes, the Legion of Superheroes, back together. There is a wonderfully strange cast of characters here. We got Saturn Girl, we got Colossal Boy, we got Brainiac 7, just to name a few, and that guy, boy is he weird. So he.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that's the most unique version of Brainiac I've ever seen in my life.
It's like a demented cyber beast boy where he just can't pick a shape and he's always morphing and changing, but it looks nuts. It's fucking buck wild. So they gather up, and then we check off with a couple of different members, and then it's off to the races. So we got to get some other guys. On the planet of Wanath, home of the Lightning Twins, they mentioned that. I don't know what the hell that means, but that's where they used to live. There's
the Lightning Twins are on the original Legion of Superhero team.
Okay, that probably I figured it was something like
they
that.
were a part of Bendis's characters that he referenced. I won't say used for his stories in Legion of Superheroes, but I will say he referenced it.
That's the toss up there. Well, there's a revolution starting on their planet, and luckily there's a couple of former Legionnaires there to put an end to. So we've got Triplicate Girl, who's lost one of her lickets, so there's just two of them now, and then Block, a big cool rock man. So
Black is cool. I like Black.
Yeah. There's a lot of cool little weird creatures here. But they get recruited to the team. Then we pick up Bouncing Boy, who's apparently dope enough to take down a whole fleet of starships just by ping ponging around. He's a big guy. I like him. His look.
He's just like Roundhouse in Teen Titans.
I love his weird face. I like it all. But then he gets back in it, and they go to this other planet. Who has kidnapped Lightning Lad, and they're about to kill him, but then the good guys show up in the nick of time. Jan Ara or whatever, I don't know. He's a former Legionnaire. He was one of their own, but he betrayed them and apparently destroyed the universe. So yeah, that's
not a good dude.
You think that's a good thing? It's not.
Yeah, well, this new take on the Legion has a great look, and for me personally, it's got an even better feel. Going into this book, I had no knowledge of any of these wacky and I must say terrifically designed heroes, but I had a blast nonetheless. For my part, not knowing who the guys were or their history didn't seem to affect my enjoyment at all. Again, as just after a couple of pages, I was invested and ready to see some more of these kooky guys. Galactic and space stories are a big favorite for mine, and I was having a great, if not confusing, time. This one came in at a 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. So we've got
Looks
a
nuts.
really positive review
Oh, this
for
art
a
is
Bendis
beautiful, baby.
book coming from Not a Robot Podcast. Now let's hear what Jared's got to say.
My favorite part of this comic book was when I finally closed it. Let's start with the art, which looks like my grandson drew on a Denny's placemat.
That's
cover
Riley
to cover.
Rossmo for you.
The only art that's good in it is the advertisements. It's Attack of the Dialogue Bubble from cover to cover. I think there was one panel that wasn't mostly dialogue bubbles.
Right.
It is another Bendis masterpiece. Mwah, way to destroy DC. Little by little, keep on cashing that Marvel paycheck, buddy. I'm gonna have to give this an utter disappointment. Of 3.75 Legion rings out of 10. Not even enough to cover a hand.
3.5, you say, huh?
3.75.
3.75. All right, well,
I guess.
Knowing and going into this with the preconceptions that I do from the talents that are responsible for the issue that was brought to us, that's the nicest way I could say that, I made sure that we were going to get somebody who appreciated the creators to review it. Because I knew that I would have to list this down into pros and cons, and that certainly wouldn't come across very good for a podcast now, would it? So the pros. We still have random caption boxes everywhere, but now they're in some random alien language, and we don't have to read them. And that's the end of that list. The cons. It is fairly possible, not 100% certain, but pretty darn close, that they have decided to continue on in this timeline after Futures. As it says, the original Legion only existed for 100 days, and that doesn't give Bendis a lot of time to wiggle with. However, with Naomi, for those of you who are reading along with the Young Justice line and everything that he was tying together, Action Comics and all of them, you learned that with Naomi, one of his latest creations, Bendis took 7 months of comics spanning 4 different titles and compressed them into an under 2-week time frame with 1 line of dialogue. So who knows? 7 months, that's over a year with the delays that it had and everything, and that's over a year's worth of issues that people read at $3.99 or more an issue, with a whole new slew of characters to do that with. And you pair his distractive writing with, like, the most distracting artist on the face of the planet. I get it. There are people out there like Reed that just enjoy this, but for me, it's so noisy on the page that it makes it hard to read the words that are printed on it. Reading this issue, I literally felt like I got stuck watching a very bad car accident that I couldn't look away from the entire 6 minutes that I was reading this issue. Jared gave it a 3.75, and I gave it a 3 out of 10. And I guess we all definitely have our very strong opinions on this one.
I mean, I don't have strong opinions. It's just
you
weird.
Enjoyed
it's
it.
fun.
You really enjoyed it.
I didn't really.
That's obvious, and that's not a problem.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
I'm not saying.
8.
If I come in here coming at like a 10, yeah, I fucking enjoyed that one. It's like, yeah, it's good. It's just good. It's chill.
No, I mean, calling something a 10, I mean, that's saying that everybody should enjoy it, and if you don't read comics. That's what a 10 is. But like, I mean, coming, an 8, and the Brian Michael Bendis and Riley Rossmo obviously have fans. Mm-hmm. Or else they wouldn't be selling the issues that they do, and they certainly wouldn't have renewed any contracts. That said,
they both got very specific styles.
They definitely do, and neither one of them are for me. I cannot. I've tried. Obviously, I read every single issue that they put out. I just can't get around it. I've tried.
You gotta start doing like me. Just don't read who's by. Just read.
There you go.
I wait until I'm done.
Literally 9 times out of 10, it's when I'm typing up the review, and like today, I was like, oh, okay, all right. That explains a lot. Yeah, see, I mean, it's definitely weird. It's a weird one, guys. If you like weird space stuff, strange adventures, kind of baloney, this one's for you. If not, if you don't like Bendis, this is definitely Bendis.
Yes, it is. And like I said, we've all got our opinions on it, and everybody's entitled to their own. Mine's the most correct. But I'm just... Next up, we get into an issue where my fears were relieved instead of realized. Right after this. And we're back We're going to dive right back in the books with Dark Detective number 2, priced at $5.99 with a cover from Dan Mora, and boy, let me tell you, I thought that was great. Story and art by various talents, presented individually. Future State Dark Detective number 2 has 2 stories this week. First up is, of course, Dark Detective number 2, followed by the first Future State appearance of Red Hood. Dark Detective Part 2 was written by Mariko Tamaki with art by Dan Mora and Jordi Belair with letters from Aditya Bidikar. Bruce Wayne the Detective. That's who we get currently living in the only house left in Gotham with a non-electric lock. Bruce is renting a room from a man named Noah, and Noah just happens to be crazy as a loon and a major conspiracy theorist to boot, and he has a daughter that drops off bottled water because he won't drink it from the tap. There's alien mind control chemicals in there. This works out pretty well for Bruce, and it's just the kind of place he needs. The rest of the scene and the story center around Bruce getting shot and how the peacekeepers knew that Bruce Wayne being killed was killing Batman. Digging in against the pain of his gunshot wound, Bruce tried to push past his foggy mind and figure things out. After wondering where the magistrate gets all their wonderful toys, he finds out that there are 3 companies responsible, none of which existed before the Joker War. Now, I think that this might be a bit of a bungle because we're given the name of one company, Plexitech, and then later on, a drone snatched from the air that's from the magistrate also points to Wayne Enterprises. So that's 2 out of the 3, but one of those existed long before the events of the magistrate.
But the drone.
And that's pretty much the book. The art from Mora looks absolutely beautiful for the story and the setting, and I honestly could just stare at it all day. I am so far removed from worrying about the writing of this book now, I'm sold on it. I love the way that Tamaki handles this part of Bruce's life and how truly authentic that the character feels in these situations. The dialogue flows smoothly, the story holds well. I am really enjoying this, and I would love to have several more issues to read as long as they continue to be this good. We're 2 issues in, and this is one of my favorite titles in Future State, guys. So that's where I'm at with it. I mean, obviously, I really liked it. What did you guys think about Dark Detective Part 2?
Well, I like the art. I love Noah, the batshit crazy dude. Always works out great. It worked great in Red.
Yes, it
did. Get the pig! The one thing that happened to Noah is because Noah's daughter keeps on bringing Bruce the water and Bruce and Noah the water, and apparently that gives Bruce glow-in-the-dark blue eyes or something, because that's Superman level blue eyes. That ain't Bruce.
He's been being drawn with some really ice blue eyes for about the past, I couldn't give an exact time frame, but for quite a while now. When he's Bruce Wayne, he's shown to have those ice blue eyes. I think people just like the color.
I gotta say that the art's great. Lettering's almost perfect, but it's not quite there. I think it might be more of a spacing issue. But okay. I do like the way that they're drawing Batman getting down to getting down to the brass tacks. I like that. I'm not a big Bruce fan. It's not Batman per se, but Bruce Wayne himself. I love Terry. Terry is awesome. Damian was dick. Just Bruce. All right. But yeah. Other than that, I didn't really have any major complaints.
All right.
It leads into the story great.
Yeah, this is a really interesting side of Bruce Wayne Batman, and this is kind of what you had mentioned, getting down to brass tacks, and I think that's really important here. We've kind of gotten away from what I was getting a little burnt out on Batman being this huge global threat with like droids and all this kind of baloney, and this is great to see him on his heels on the run. That's where Batman really shines. It's like Spider-Man. Spider-Man is best when he's broke and he's desperate and he's got all kind of things going on. Batman is best back on his heels. And this is great. I love Crazy Noah. He's cool. He's got a very good beard.
He's got a very good beard.
Yeah, every time you can tell that they drew that beard with relish. It's very powerful, very potent. Good story and amazing art. Yeah, they knocked it out of the park with this one.
Noah looks like a mixture of man and Santa Claus.
Good combo. Good combo. Lawful good.
There you go. And up next, we have Red Hood Part 1, written by Joshua Williamson with art by Gianna Milo Logiani and Jordy Belair with letters from ALW's Troy Patiri. Jared, take us through Red Hood Part 1.
Well, Mask Alert, you have to get through this art. Different quality from the first half. But it goes through with Red Hood getting up out of bed to go chase after Vigilante.
Mm-hmm.
The magistrate put an order out on him, and he's got to go earn that paycheck now. So Red Hood's still capturing masks for the magistrate. Jibber jabbers about that for a little bit. He goes to the bar, and Rose, or Ravenger, if you will, comes up and stops the guys that were trying to give Jason a hard time. Apparently, and we find out this interesting piece of bat knowledge. Now, make sure you follow this away. Apparently, Jason Todd dyes his hair.
Well, in the future.
Well, regardless, have some grace.
Yeah. Nobody can see it, but I've gone silver naturally. And a little white.
You ain't fighting crime. I went scalp. And, lo and behold, Deathstroke likes Jason Todd, which I didn't really see coming with him and Rose's relationship.
I could see Deathstroke and Jason Todd getting along. It wouldn't be the first time. They were drawn as not exactly friends, but they respected each other and I think that this was another great example of how those two people they would have to respect one. Their characters would define them.
Similar to get along.
Okay, so if they were both more aggressive, absolutely, but neither one does shit unprovoked. Deathstroke won't act unless you mess with his family or pay him to do something.
Give him money.
Red Hood won't act unless you're a bad guy or you fuck with his family. Those are the rules. So just, stay away from the family, don't be a bad guy, and don't piss off the wrong person, and you should be fine with Deathstroke and Red Hood.
He's at the bar with Rose, and beep, 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 red alert.
Beep, beep.
We got another mask up in town, but it's not just any mask. It's the old school Red Hood gang, which I absolutely loved the fact that they brought in, 1940s Red Hood, and that instantly hooked me in. And the fact that his first frame is him cussing, gorgeous. Because what would you do if you seen Red Hood coming after you?
Have a good cuss.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, Jason gives chase to the old school Red Hood. Rose is also after him. Red Hood, the reason why this is dead or alive is because Red Hood will bring him in live, and, well, she's Ravenger, Deathstroke's daughter. He's not coming in alive. So she kills the guy who was just trying to help the community. At least that's what we were taught, and the thought process going in there. And then when Jason takes off his hood, he finds out you first see a whole bunch of little computer diodes and everything inside the hood where there's only one person that does this, and that's Jarvis, the Mad Hatter.
Who I was glad to see brought into Future State because he's one of the most... When he's used, he's never utilized the right way. At least he hasn't been in a very long time, and I was glad to see him show up here.
When the Mad Hatter's name was used, I had whatever the DC equivalent to spider senses going off. I was giddy. Yeah. And, well, that ended up being a big letdown because not that much longer afterwards, after Rose rides bitch on Jason's bike to the Mad Hatter's Wonderland Putt-Putt. Wonderful family location. They found old MH, but he kind of looks like the Crypt Keeper from the HBO series. He's been dead for a while.
Yeah, for quite a while. He's nothing but bones now.
Yes. Well, it ends with one last thing. Another mask alert coming up. But this one's on the mask named Jason Todd. And I'm not entirely certain if it's applicable, but there's $12 signs underneath his name. Unlawful Heroics, Wanted Dead or Alive. Last known locale is the Narrows. And if you look up a city map of Gotham, the Wonderland Putt-Putt, it's in the Narrows.
Oh, is it? I did not realize that.
We check, recheck, and then check again. I'm going to have to say that it's a great pace in the story. The art was utterly horrendous. Once again, I need quality art. Somebody that doesn't drool when they draw. Once again, my grandson could draw better on a Denny's placemat.
Tell us how you really feel.
You gotta send me some pics of that, brother.
No problem. I'm going to have to say the story is good. The only thing I really found lacking is art, so I'm going to have to give it. So overall, with the Red Hood and Dark Detectives together, I I'm going to have to give it a 6.75 mask alerts out of 10. I thought the art on Dark Detective was superb. Superb to that. But it's give and take, where Red Hood had the great story, the great drive that kept those pages turning effortlessly. It lacked on art. Dark Detective had art, and it was a chore to get through. So I'm giving it a 6.25 mask alerts out of 10.
6.25. All right. Reed, where did you land with the issue? What did you think of Red Hood and the whole thing?
Yeah, I really liked the Red Hood story. I didn't think I was going to, but I really thought the stylistic choice on the Red Hood story was pretty cool. On parallel, maybe with not detail in lighting, but certainly in a kinetic kind of action. It's all there for me. Plus, Red Hood rides a bike, and it's got a cool like Akira taillight thing going on where it's got these nice trails. I really liked the second story. I really dug Ravager here. This is cool. I like the way the character was styled. I like the way it felt. It was a neat look here. It reminded me at certain points of reading this second story of watching like Adult Swim and like like the early aughts.
I see that. Yeah, for sure.
It's got some Lupin the Third kind of Akira energy going on here that I really dug. Overall, I think both stories were really satisfying. It was cool. I mean, that chick did slice that innocent person in half, though, so that's pretty tough. All things considered, this is a great book. I'm going to give it a 8 out of 10.
All right. Yeah, slicing somebody in half is the least of things that Ravage. She's a little brutal. She's a loving person, but she's a little brutal at times.
No, yeah, she's chill.
I think
I'm fine with her.
Yeah, she's pretty chill. She just doesn't have a problem killing people.
Whoops.
I think both of these stories made me smile this week. Dark Detective is far better than I ever hoped it was going to be. And Red Hood's story is really super good. I love that he doesn't speak while he's on duty. I don't know if you guys noticed that or not, but when he's around the magistrate or anybody else, he doesn't utter a single word. He's not friendly, nothing. So I think that we've got a Red Hood here that's trying to keep doing just what he does, and he's just trying to adapt to his environment. He hasn't necessarily become a traitor as far as he's concerned. He's trying to fight the good fight and do it the safest way that he can. He's doing whatever he can to keep doing.
Him being a member of the Bat family, it doesn't seem like that right now or anything like that. Unless there's something that I'm not picking up on, I see that being as a long play of Bruce wanting to have somebody there in Peacekeeper 1's back pocket. So he has a man on the inside. At least I have faith through that. I'm a big Jason Todd fan. I voted to keep him alive, FYI.
I am a big Jason Todd fan too. That's no secret to anybody that listens to the podcast. That said, he didn't bring up Bruce really, insofar as to whether or not he knows or thinks that Bruce Wayne is alive. But I believe it's referenced in Dark Detective in the previous issue. Everybody thinks that Bruce Wayne is. So I don't know if Jason knows or not. I could be mistaken. I that might not actually be a reference. It could be something I'm just assuming, or maybe I read it from a solicitation. But
no, well, I mean,
that would be interesting.
Back to Oracle,
that would be interesting that Jason Todd was the one that he chose to let know that he was still alive. I would have assumed that it would have been Tim Drake.
Well, yeah, I mean, Grayson doesn't know. That's for sure. They mentioned that
Grayson
in their last interaction. Sure. He thinks he's dead.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and the next Batman thinks that he's dead. Yeah, so it's got me. You bringing that up makes me very curious if Jason knows, because he's the only one so far where it hasn't been addressed. Jared had a bit of a problem with the art in the Red Hood. Reed liked it. It took me a second to warm up to it, because flipping from the Dark Detective to the Red Hood, it was really jarring, because they are drastic for an art style. But once you start reading, after just a few pages, I warmed right up to it, and I thought it was. I gave this entire issue a 9.25 out of 10. I loved it.
Yeah, this is a real knockout here.
I mean, real knockout. There were so many people that were really worried about how Mariko Tamaki was going to handle Dark Detective because they weren't exactly big fans of what she was doing in Wonder Woman with Liar Liar and all of that.
Yeah. I mean,
But
me among them. I did not enjoy the Wonder Woman book she wrote.
Have Maxwell Lord erase that from my mind.
yeah, I was really worried, to be honest with you, but she has erased all of those. I could read 12 of them. Sign me up, seriously. I mean, as long as they stay this level of quality, I am in for the long haul, man.
Yeah, this is a fun read.
All right, now let's get into a book that shows us some very different sides of our beloved characters in two separate stories. First, we take a peek into a different world where no one is who we think they are. The second story is about Black Adam, who now lives on the planet Kondat.
Hell yeah.
Not just a nation here on Earth anymore, a whole planet.
Black Adam done went to space.
Hell yeah, he did.
He followed Lex's thing. He established his own planet.
It seems to be something that the narcissists do. With the cover done by Javier Fernandez and Marcelo Mialo, let's see where this one goes. Taking place on an alternate Earth, we have Future State Suicide Squad #1. Priced at $5.99, written by Robbie Thompson with art from Javier Fernandez and Alex Sinclair and lettering from Wes Abbott. Reed, take us through Future State Suicide Squad Part 1.
Absolutely. Okay, so we start out in media res. We got villains on the run. They just completed a job, but the heroes are close behind. See, I did a heroes. The Justice Squad appears. We got familiar names, we've got familiar costumes, but we have some unlikely faces behind the mask. Okay, so let's go down. Now that we're on the, I didn't put it in the review, but let's run down a couple here. So we've got Clayface as Martian Manhunter. We've got Talon as Batman. We've got Hypnotic Woman as Wonder Woman. We've got Bolt as Flash. We've got Fisherman, this weird symbiote fish creature as Aquaman. And we've got
who apparently, yeah, you said symbiote. Apparently, he had a helmet at one time that gave him his powers, and it transformed into a shirt of the old Aquaman style.
Yeah.
He looks like a member of the Trench.
Yeah, he does. Doesn't
he's messed up. He's messed up. And then we've got Connor, who is a real genuine Superman. In a Thunderbolts-esque kind of twist here. We've got some bomb-brained villains now wearing the mantles of Earth's mighty heroes. They have different names, but the tactics are still the same. This is your regular old Suicide Squad stuff. Whatever it takes to get the job done, the mission. Also the same is that if you step out of line, you get blown up real good.
Kaboom.
Yeah. Not all are satisfied with this new normal, as we have some folks working behind to take Amanda Waller and the new Justice Squad down for good. Who is going to emerge victorious? Like, you have to wait and check out in the next one. This is a lot of fun. These kind of crazy creatures. It's a little derivative. I mean, it's literally just doing Thunderbolts. But I don't hate it. These are some fun characters.
No, I don't hate it either, but I got some major Thunderbolts vibes from it too. You're not alone.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a what if kind of future thing, so I don't really care. I like that Amanda Waller is basically in charge of the whole planet, and through her brutal tactics has like emerged victorious somehow. I don't know. Also, Clayface eats Mongrel at one point, and he has to get her home before he digests her. Very cool. Very fun story. Kind of stupid, but I don't hate it.
It was a little.
Why is Wonder Woman blurry in the Pentagon?
She's blurry all the time.
Because that's not really Wonder Woman. That's Hypnotic Woman.
So she make herself real big,
or
too.
Hypnotica or something like that.
Yeah, so it's just like kind of, I guess it's to give us the idea that it's not like, she's not really looking like that. It's like distraction. It probably looks great at a distance, but they don't probably bring her up close for the photo ops, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, and I think that it says something in here. Of course, my internet is making my pages low a second low, but I believe that it mentions something like she's having a hard time keeping her form stabilized, and that she wants to continue being Wonder Woman.
Yeah, she seems to be really into it. A lot of these like heroes, like her and Bolt, were really like we're being the good guys now, and this is like we always wanted to do. We just by circumstances became bad guys. Some of them are just bad. What are you gonna do?
Right.
Sinestro gets messed up.
All right.
Yeah. He's an alien. He dies slow.
And then we see there's this team there that is tracking the new Suicide Squad and mostly
Justice
Amanda
Squad.
Waller. Yeah, we find out it's the Justice Squad at the end.
No, that's backwards. The new team at the end is the Suicide Squad,
right.
and they're chasing this Justice Squad.
Yeah, excuse me. That's right. But I was trying so hard to figure out who these figures were in the black, where it's all super dark, and I could immediately, I could figure out that it was Cheetah and Deadshot and Black Manta, but I couldn't figure out who the rest of
one looks like Ray.
rest of the people were, and then it turns out I was wrong. For some of them, there was Cheetah, Peacekeeper, not Deadshot, and Mirror Master, or maybe that's who I confused with Deadshot.
Mirror Master is the one with the funny-looking gun and the green and yellow.
Right.
I believe the guy up front that says the Suicide Squad, isn't that the Ray?
No, that's Peacekeeper. That's gonna be
Peacekeeper.
Yeah, that'll be Peacekeeper. Not the Peacekeeper that we're familiar with from Magistrate, but the original Peacekeeper, the one that John Cena will be playing in the Suicide Squad movie coming out from James Gunn, and also rumor, and if I'm not mistaken, confirmed that he will be featured in his own spin-off TV series on HBO Max.
That makes sense.
Playing the Peacekeeper as well.
So did John Cena finally buy a personality?
But yeah, so we've got Peacekeeper at the very end of the book. We've got Peacekeeper, we've got Mirror Master, we've got Cheetah, but the other three, I'm not sure. The guy that's flying down, that could be a new iteration of Killer Moth, it could be a new iteration of Firefly, but I'm not 100% certain. The guy on the left in the back with the red Starface mask, I know I should know who that is. And I'm completely blanking on the black-haired, punk-looking Superman guy.
The Bizod's kid?
Possibly. I'm not sure who that is, but I suppose it's not all that important.
The flying guy looks like Batman from Earth 3 mixed with a parademon.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. I mean, altogether, I thought that this was a pretty interesting story. It was a little hard to keep track of at first, but once he got into it, you fell right into the story. It was written really well. I would have to say, as far as Robbie Thompson is concerned, this is probably some of the best stuff that he has done in a long time. He's been responsible for the Teen Titans, and that's seen some ups and downs as of late. Jared, what did you think about it?
Well, I gotta say, it's a good story. I like the development, the pace. Once again, it draws you in. It makes you want to have to turn the page. It's not gonna be one you're gonna put down halfway through and then walk off. You're gonna finish the damn comic.
Right? Yeah. It's a page turner.
The cover kind of threw me off a little bit. I guess with it being the Talon Batman and the Aquaman that looks like he's from the trench, I guess that kind of covers that.
Right.
I have to say I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm gonna guess most likely the next issue is gonna all be about the Suicide Squad, and then the following one is gonna be Justice Squad versus Squad.
I would have to double check that. I'm not sure if we're getting 2 or 3 issues of this.
Oh.
I'm not 100% certain. Actually, I think we are only getting 2.
Yeah, I believe so. There's only what was like Batman one getting through.
Or 4, excuse me.
I
Yeah,
see them
4 issues for Batman.
Seeing the Suicide Squad covering the first 2/3 of the album, and then the Justice Squad shows up, and then the Squabble.
Squabble Squad.
There we go.
The Squabble Squad, fuck with them.
The Squabble Squad for Scrabble.
And then they squabble.
Over Scrabble.
They fight.
Alright guys, time for the second part of the book, set in the 853rd century and written by Jeremy Adams with art from Fernando Pasarin, Eau Claire Albert, and Jeremy Cox, with Wes Abbott again on those letters. We've got Black Adam in the Beginning of the End, Part 1. So we start this story out with the Justice, made up of the original Wonder Woman, now completely opalescent, an unidentified Superman, a brand new Batman, a brand new Flash. They're immediately thrown into a crisis in the form of the Unkindness. That's a supervillain group that is decimating literally everything in its path, and its team members are the immortal villain Vandal Savage, of course, Teakle, the tiny cat that was once the familiar of Clarion, the Lord of Chaos, before he ate him and turned into a tiger, Child, the spirit of lost innocence, and most surprisingly, Dove, the one-time hero, part of the duo Hawk and Dove and sometime member of the Titans. She's traded her good ways in for being the embodiment of violence. That team is accompanied by the 7 deadly sins, and this is quite the team because they make quick work of the most powerful Superman ever, Superman Prime. The Justice Legion doesn't know what to do, but Wonder Woman has an idea. She's had a secret boyfriend for a while, as Wonder Woman tends to do, and she wants to ask him for help. Teth Adam, now living a life of peace on the planet Kondak as an ambassador and flower lover instead of a ruler, is who they turn to. Now completely devoid of magic, he sustains himself and the planet around solely with technology. While the Justice Legion is there to get his help, the unkindness arrives with the 7 deadly sins. Unfortunately for them, Rage is the one that went after Teth Adam, and as one would expect, it fills him with anger and brought Black Adam back. All the other members were infected except for Diana, and Black Adam scoops her up before taking off. He wants to just give up and accepts death until Diana tells him that he's gonna be a baby daddy. Just as the mind-controlled Justice Legion shows up, so does a new character named Gold Beetle, and they announce that they know how to save the day. For me, this was pretty action-packed, a fast-paced issue. I was constantly turning the pages, sometimes so quick I had to go back and read it again. Not because it was unclear, but just because I had to. It was really good to look at. There are some details that are missing, but the thing is, I don't feel like I'm missing anything important, nothing that I need to know for this story. I don't need to know the secret identities of these heroes or how a living statue can have a baby with an ancient. The story was fun to read and it was super engaging. I had a lot of fun with it, and I really need to know how this one ends, man. I gave this overall a 7.75 out of 10. How about you?
Yeah, I think, what did I get? This one, okay, so this is challenging for me. I enjoyed this story. I liked this weird, statue Wonder Woman kind of character, and I know I've been doing Marvel, things today, but this new Wonder Woman who is a statue what done come to life gives me,
It's impossible not to cross the two,
it's giving me real Jocasta vibes. Is what I was
Gotcha.
thinking from she like the robot, the third in the Ultron family, Ultron and then Vision and then Jocasta. I think this is how it goes. If I get someone to correct me, but anyhow, It's a great character. She's got a weird, cool shield, and she's like basically like, I don't know how I came to exist. I'm just a statue that came to life. Like that's fun, but
Right.
the threat here, and I understand that you have to have a big galactic threat. I like this Legion. They're cool. The Batman is dope. But these villains suck. I hate this. This is like the lamest incarnation of the 7 deadly sins. I mean, Greed is a weird leprechaun with a big backpack full of stuff. And he's like a cosmic entity. I get that as like a character. Like if this was just like a bunch of like villains, if this was like a super villain team, I'd be like, oh, that's chill as hell. Like I like all these things. But this is a cosmic destroying group. One's a little leprechaun, one's wearing a green suit and a top hat. Like what are we doing?
I'm gonna have to go back and look at this.
Greed looks like Mr. McKizzle.
Yeah, it sucks. I don't know. I don't like this. both of these stories were a little lackluster for me. I'm gonna boost this up because I did enjoy a little bit on the second run through here. That Suicide Squad. I gave it a 6.75 on the site, but I think I'm gonna bust it up to a 7. I rated it just a little bit better than a comic book, but I think it was just because I was down so hard on the second half. There's a lot of cool ideas in that second half I love. I like the new Black Adam. I like weird superheroes, but I don't know. It just sucks. I can't explain why. It just sucks. But the first story speaks for itself.
I went back to the page for the 7 deadly sins, and okay, so I don't exactly understand what Pride is supposed to be depicting there.
What about Lust?
But
in a
Wrath
straight
looks
jacket?
like an angry monster. Lust doesn't make sense either. But Envy is just a dude that's in green. I mean, he's 8 arms. He wants more. He wants more. It's to grab more stuff. It's greed. It's envy. It's jealousy. You know. You've heard that analogy. They could be better, but I like Wrath.
Yeah, he's cool. I mean, it's like a weird guy. Yeah, big chin. I like it.
Sloth is
Gluttony was okay. I was in Gluttony.
Yeah, and Gluttony. But yeah, I'll give you Greed.
Pride looks like she's incorporating them all because, well, she's prideful, so she's incorporating all the other ones. She's got her purple lightning going all around.
Okay.
Her.
Oh yeah, okay.
I don't know. Yeah, this didn't seem like a universe-ending threat. Like a bunch of big tough bad guys. Yeah, sure, but like this is the Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Come on.
And the Black Adam. Say great art. I love green Cybertron that we open up on. Because if you look at it, I'm expecting Optimus Prime to come floating through there.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
now that
cool.
You
And,
say that,
the
and I
art
see
is
it.
I think the art is.
I would flip out if I'd flip out if Optimus Prime came flying out there. I wasn't knocking it. I thought that was a compliment.
For sure.
Great art, great story, great God. It's rocking. I'm loving the Wonder Woman and Black Adam getting together and magic. Or as the immortal Jeff Goldblum said, life will find a way. Overall, I think the art was definitely better in the Black Adam, but the Suicide Squad was good. Black Adam was just better. And I bumped it up another full point because just before the Gold Beetle, who I'm assuming is Blue Beetle's son mixed with Gold Beetle's daughter, I don't know, something along that side, but the panel just before that, where it says "Look out below," the Gold Beetle machine plays "La Cucaracha,"
Which is funny.
There you go.
Point just for
That's
that
valid.
one
That's a
panel.
valid
There you
opinion.
go.
I am giving this, and I used it off of the Suicide Squad thing. I'm giving this 8.25 Black Lantern rings
Oh,
encased.
I did forget about that. That's pretty good. That was pretty cool.
God's gonna be coming back.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Do you have to be dead to wear the ring?
No, you have to be dead to be able to incorporate
Okay. So you don't have to be dead to wear the ring. You can just control dead stuff. Okay.
far
It'd just
as I
be
know,
better
yes.
if you were dead.
I'm not sure. Somebody settled this for us because
Well, they
I
have
think
to
you have to.
died.
I think
They don't have to be currently dead. If you
There you
died
go.
and got resurrected, like Batman or Superman, they can pick up the ring and put it on because
Yeah,
they
if you had
have.
a little heart
died.
attack and you died for
But they're
like
not
a
currently
second,
dead.
yeah, that's okay. That's chill. I dig that. Okay.
all right.
Superman got bludgeoned to death by Doomsday, but it's a slight heart attack. I don't. Except
My way would be a little bit easier. I
with
feel like.
Batman's.
Y'all ever see Scanners? Is that movie?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, wait, no, it's not Scanners.
Of course.
Flatliners. Flatliners.
Flatliners. Oh yeah, that was
Oh,
a good one too.
With the
yeah.
dead stuff.
Oh,
yeah,
you guys completely.
Yep. All right, now for the last issue of the episode, we're going straight to the beginning of the Future State timeline. Written by Gene Luen Yang, an art and cover from Ben Oliver with a brief Prianto on colors and Tom Napolitano on letters at a price of $3.99. Jared, what happens in Future State Batman Super?
Well, when you pick up the issue, I'm looking at it right now. It does not look like the future's that bright. That's got to be some of the lazy art on the cover. There's no detail. It's a whole bunch. It looks like it's in a bat cave and kryptonite crystals are everywhere. It's at some lazy art. When you open the page, so that's when it ends up coming together a little bit.
You know, I'm going to have to disagree with you on that cover, man. Maybe watercolors aren't exactly your style, but I'm pretty sure that's what this is. And if that's the case, they did an amazing.
Yeah, yet again, it's very stylistic, certainly.
It is very stylistic, and I mean, I don't know about lazy, but I mean, I think it looks good. It's not super detailed by any stretch of the imagination, and I think that the font choices for the title throws it off, and the red going around the border might take away from the art too. But I mean,
Yeah, she made a different color with the lasers.
The Future
on
State
it.
template is a
for
little
sure.
bit, just in general.
yeah, it's kind of bland, and it takes up so much of the book.
Look like a Yu-Gi-Oh card up in here.
So it's
Yeah,
very
oh my
plain
god,
cover.
it does. It looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh card. There you go.
Sorry.
Dang, I did not see that either.
It's time to
I can't unsee that. I can't unsee it
It's a
now.
fucking trap card.
Okay, I'm gonna say it's a very plain cover.
Oh, I played the Blue Eyes Dragon.
Blue-eyed Batman.
I'm gonna give you a clean one here, Josh. Zing of the day.
Hey, man, I'm interrupting this again. I'm sorry, but just because it's Yu-Gi-Oh, we brought that up. Dude, I remember when that shit was super fucking popular, and that blue-eyed white dragon or whatever the fuck it was.
Blue-eyed blue dragon.
My oldest son looked me dead ass straight in the eyes and said, "Dad, that's all I want for Christmas. Just buy me that one card." I was like, "You gotta be kidding me. You just want one Yu-Gi-Oh card for Christmas? That's it?" He goes, "They're super rare and it's kind of hard to find. But if you can get it for me, yes, that's all I want for Christmas." So I start looking this shit up, right? It was $150. I'm like, what? No, son,
That had to be
you're
a
not getting the
legendary or
blue-eyed
something.
white dragon. It was a very super rare card, but it was
Yeah, the
worth a
blue
lot. of
dragon
money.
is one of the starter sets, but the white dragon, I guess, was
Well, it's like the
special.
one from the show. I never
can't
played the
remember
card game, but I
exact title. Yeah,
Like,
it was the one.
that
from
was
the
like
The one from the
Blue
show
Eyes
is
White.
Blue Dragon.
Well, whatever.
Well,
Blue
or-
Eyes White Dragon. Blue Eyes White
Yeah.
Dragon. That was like the one. I feel like, right?
Yeah.
Well, hey
Yep,
man,
for
this-
sure. And everybody wanted it. It was
oh, so
holographic.
you get the hollow one. Yeah, that's gonna boost your price. This might be a good investment. I don't know about Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, I tell you what, I found a box of Magic cards. I was cleaning out my mom's attic, right? Because like we had like leakage, so we had to redo it, and I just kept pulling out boxes and boxes of old stuff, like my old like trophies, like bowling league, all kind of crazy baloney. And I found like a box of books, and I was going through stuff that I was donating, old stuff, and like getting rid of, kind of paring down the stuff. And I found a shoebox full of Magic cards. I did. Oh boy,
Oh, wow.
Because I'm an old guy. I'm an old guy, so I was playing this stuff in high school back like what 98, or in like middle school 97, 96, somewhere in there. So I actually found a decent amount of little cashola that some fools would be willing to pay big money for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right
sorry,
on.
that's a little diatribe. I just wanted to brag a
All
little
right.
bit to our listeners. I found some cool Magic cards. I'm not gonna sell them though because I love them and I play Magic all the time. So.
I found Pokemon cards I had for, I ended up getting a couple years ago as I lost a bet, so I had to go spend $20 on Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And I just sold them at Great Escape, $58 for all of them.
Hey,
So,
all that baloney
Hell
going on
yeah.
with the stock market. Invest in cardboard, y'all. That's my advice.
There you go. Pretty cardboard. Pretty
If
card
it's worthless,
stock.
you got cool pictures at least.
All right, there you go. Well, now that we've taken a trip down memory lane, how about we get back to that kind
No
of
way,
fun?
Jose.
Good.
well, we go from Memory Lane to Metropolis yesterday. And it opens up on a kid named Xander who's attempting to take his life. He goes to jump in front of a train, and the terrorist known as Superman, instead of just grabbing Xander and lifting him out of the way, decides to instead stop the train. Which anybody following the laws of physics, it's going to crush.
Yeah, he just broke that train.
Yeah,
Or
and
so.
everybody inside
And a lot
it
of-
just got
and-
messed
and a-
up.
In a lot. Well, then you start getting into the whole if he caught Lois when
Exactly.
she falls, he'd cut her in half.
He has to be
argument.
moving too fast.
He met the speed.
I don't know. The rules around Superman are a little bit loose. It comes to
Yeah.
that kind of business.
Yeah, remember he processes time in nanoseconds, so he has the ability to adjust in even quicker time.
And he should have saved Xander instead of dooming everybody on the damn train. Xander adds before him that he's been taking a serum that can change his face to an animal because comic books.
Well, I'd just like to
but
say,
it does have some side effects.
yeah, it has some side effects, but I would just like to say, there is no reason to think that the kids putting a weird thing on their neck to make their face an animal face would not be a hit. These fools was eating Tide Pods, so like this is 100% believable. No reason needs to happen for anything to be a thing. So this is fine. Animal faces, I get that. I get that more than pods, baby.
Everybody in the club getting furry.
We gotta wrap this baby up. Let's end this thing.
Well, that serum has a side effect. You get changed back there. You get changed into an animal. The Xander chose the goat because that was his ram, because that was his school mascot. And then, in times of emotional stress, his horns start coming back, and that can be listed as a side effect.
Yeah,
Well,
for sure.
Superman ends up going to Gotham to try to find the source of everything, and he finds the Batwing, and Batman so politely tells him, "Get your ass in here," because he's trying to be low-key. The magistrate's looking for masks, and ain't nothing more low-key than a bright red fucking cape.
Yeah, Superman
Right.
gun Superman.
Right? A couple of the kids who ate some Tide Pods and then washed it down with some of this serum, took down a drone, and one of the Magibots go after him saying, "Hey, it's a violation. You destroyed magistrate property." Well, Superman, being Superman, scans him. Hey, he's non-organic, so hey, he gets to have a little fun. He opens up that can of whoop-ass that is the shape of one Magicbot. And then I end up having to go read back through it because I end up remembering it later. One of the young ladies that changed her face to look like an animal starts talking about her father. He's been missing, and she believes that the magistrate took him. And he was a professor at Gotham University. He loved his job. He loved his research. He loved his daughter. He would not leave. Magistrate had to have taken him. Well, after this poignant conversation that gives you some more of the later on plot, some dumbass with a dang baseball bat and an ant head thinks, hey, I just seen the Magic Bot shoot Superman, and he didn't even flinch, so I'm going to attack him with, oh my word. Yeah, I just stuck on stupid. It's like in the Superman movies when someone takes a chain gun and just unlays it all on them, and then they take out a handgun after that fails. Really?
Right. Yep. Those 50 caliber bullets didn't take it down. Surely the 9mm will.
Remember when they shot him in the eyeball? That was crazy.
They go running around Gotham. Batman and Superman go running around Gotham to try to find where's this serum coming from. And Batman runs up to a computer and he gets stumped a little bit and he goes, huh? Which felt kind of weird, Batman saying, huh? And then immediately afterwards, Cal brought up the fact that he doesn't say, huh? He says, herm.
Right.
Or
he goes,
whatever. He's like frustrated, not confused. Well, Batman's got to try to get into this computer that he's a little stumped at. Superman has to defend Batman, or keep him safe while he's trying to get into this computer to find out where all this is going down. Well, some rhino and ape-looking freaks. I'm sorry to the rhino and ape-looking people that's in our listening audience. The views of Jared is not really necessarily that of Not a Robot Podcast. But he's Superman. You know, a rhino and an ape, bink, bink, done. Well, the next thing we know, he's in front of Mr. Toad, which I can't recall the children's book that's coming to mind, but I remember a Mr. Toad in it, and he does not look anything like it. But he's the leader of the False Face Society, because that's apparently a thing.
Well, it is now, but Mr. Toad is an occasional, very seldom character that appears in the Batman universe.
Okay. Well, this one is his cousin, and
right.
He's the father of the young lady that we met earlier on. Superman, because I'm trying to identify which Superman. Cal tries to talk him into turning himself in. I'll go with you to the magistrate. We can do this together, make sure it's peaceful. And Mr. Toad stabs him with a crypto knife. And that's where we're at. I'm assuming that he's going to live, because...
No, this is it. This is how it ends. Stabbed by a frog, man.
Yep, stabbed by a frog, man.
Death by frog. That'd be humiliating.
The next issue of Superman Worlds at War is just going to be a black page with white lettering that says, just kidding, the last issue didn't even have it.
I thought I was going to say The Wrath of Kermit. Well, overall, I find it just slightly over, let's say, boring from cover to cover.
Okay.
The art was constant throughout. I'm not saying in any means that's a good thing, but it was slightly above average. I like the story. I like seeing where it's going. I love the fact they brought out, once again, another, as Josh pointed out, Mr. Toad. So another blast from the past. We've had Creeper, we've had Mad Hatter, now Mr. Toad. I like the fact that they're going deep in the DC, well, to pull up some of these characters.
Yeah, I do too. I think that's pretty cool.
So I am going to have to give this 6.75 Mr. Toads out of 10.
I really dug the art style on this one. It was, I don't know, like, I want to say that everybody looked like statues or like miniatures or something. It looked more like photography than a comic book, which I thought was really fun and interesting. I love Mr. Toad.
Yeah, it was like I was trying to describe the art myself, and it kind of felt like simple animation with photorealism. It's just really hard to describe, but it looks good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I really dug the art. The story was pretty fun and exciting. I liked seeing Superman get stabbed. But other than that, so I think this was a solid story overall. I'm going to give this one a 7.5 out of 10.
So just to clarify, the art on the people, I think is amazing, but look how much dead space is on every single page where nothing's in the background. I know that's not supposed to detract, but use a little bit more ink. Throw a door there, a wall, a cloud, something.
Yeah, I think it was a medium choice as far as the kind of backgrounds that you're gonna get with what they did as far as the coloring goes. I'm a sucker for a split panel of a single image, like the one that where they've got 3 different panels. You put them all together to make Batman. The art, The art I enjoyed. It's not my favorite style, but there's nothing wrong with it. As far as the story goes, this is just a story with our normal characters at the start of something horrible. Everything that happens in Future State, basically. Obviously, Superman's normal positive outlook has him kind of being oblivious to nearly everything that's going on around him. Now, I like Jin Moon Yang's writing, even here, but I feel like this is just a bit of a sloppy direction to head in. Unless it picks up big time in the next issue, I'm going to be a little disappointed because I like Jing's work. Superman Smashes the Klan was really good. I do want to know where the story goes because of that, but overall, it was just a little bit better than average for me, so I give this a 6.5 out of 10. And that wraps up the books. So now it's time for your favorite part of the show. We're going to pick our top 3 books of the week and our favorite panel/moment of the week. And who wants to go first for that one?
Yeah, I'll take a crack at it. Okay, so top 3 books. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead. Number 3 is always the toughest for me. I will go with
Usually.
Future State, Batman, Superman. I think that was pretty solid. Kind of entertaining, but not amazing. Number 2, I'm gonna go with Future State, Legion of Heroes, because that was just fun. It was weird. It was wacky. There's all kind of crazy baloney. And that's just what I want in a Future State kind of book. A weird glimpse into a weird, wacky world. You know what I mean? And number 1 for me has got to be Aquaman. Mm-hmm. That was just so affecting. That moment when she cuts her leg off. I would say that is my moment, but my favorite moment is actually these Infinite Frontier spreads in the front and back of each book. Those got me more hyped than anything else.
They do look really good.
Yeah, I mean, we got the Wonder Woman stuff. I mean, we got Nubia, we got Yara, we got Donna, we got that other Wonder Woman sidekick. They're all there, the whole gang.
Yeah, I absolutely love the whole Bat family one.
They're both
that looks
great.
Cool as hell. And then when you get to for the Infinite Frontier one, when you get to that's Infinite Mystery, and when you get to the one where it shows everybody, dude, that's awesome. That really is. Jared, what was your top 3 and favorite panel/moment of?
Okay, for my top 3 books this week, I'm gonna have to go with Dark Detective 2. The Red Hood kind of bumped it up and carried it because I'm a big Red Hood fan. Number 2, I'm going to have to go with Aquaman. The art is amazing. And it carries a story, gives us a little glimpse into the Future State Aquaman mythos, and I'm enjoying that. But my number 1 spot has got to go to the Future State Suicide Squad with Black Adam at the end. Great art, good story. It progressed. It made me want to keep on reading. I would say that so far out of Future State, that's one of my most enjoyed books.
All right.
And for honorable mention, I would like to throw in the Challenge of the Super Sons. I know it's not Future State, but being able to see little Superman and little Robin kicking some ass, I loved it.
Yeah.
And I love Robin's hair.
What was your favorite panel/moment of the week?
Well, the part that ended up selling it for me for my favorite one is when the Gold Beetle ends up coming in. It's not the most artistic. It's not the most beautifully drawn. But the simple fact they had the Gold Beetles ride play La Cucaracha, that warmed my little human heart.
That was it for you, huh?
Oh, you know it.
Right.
El Camino did the same exact thing.
All right, I guess for my picks, I'm gonna have to go with for number 3, Future State Suicide Squad. I gave that a 7.75. And that was a really enjoyable story. Both sides of it, Suicide Squad and Black Adam. I loved the art on both sides. Different styles. Dug the stories. It was cool. Number 2 is going to go to Future State Aquaman. That was an amazing story. And Jesus, if you dropped every single one of those dialogue bubbles and just let me look at the pictures, I would be perfectly fine with 100%. Number 1, I am giving to Future State Dark Detective. I loved both stories. I loved the art all the way around. I was all about that issue. 9.25 out of 10 is what I gave that one. So that's my number 1. My favorite moment.
I do have to give them acknowledgement that they do pull back some kick-ass characters. Vigilante, I mean, how often do we see that? And I know it's just a small excerpt, but they're bringing in characters that are established, and I do love that.
You and me both, man. And my favorite moment, honestly, it was the whole issue of Dark Detective, but that's a bit much. I'm really stretching it for panel/moment. So, it did such a good job of painting. In any case, I gotta pick just one panel or moment, so I'm gonna leave that book behind. It works as a whole, but there's no singular standout moment. So, my favorite part is gonna have to go to the last page of Aquaman with Jackson walking away with those lightning water swords and looking badass as all. Now, I have really not looked forward to this part lately because there's just not been a whole lot of bad in the Future State slate, but this week that has definitely changed. We all have different ones that we really didn't like, but now it's time for the biggest stinker.
Oh, that's nasty.
Reed, what was your biggest stinker this week?
Without a doubt, hands down, Imperious Life. That sucked. I hated it. I hated every second.
Hated every second of it, all right. Jared, what made your stink list this week?
Well, what made my stink list is a 12-pack of Charmin that was labeled as the Legion of Superheroes.
For sure.
Future state of a flush.
Future state of a flush. I'm going to have to give it to you with that one. That one also made my stink list. I just, the writing style mixed with the art style just isn't for me. That's not to say it's not for anyone else listening out there, but not my taste. Yuck.
Looks like it's drawn by my little...
And that's the show. Come back and listen next week when we'll be discussing the next Batman #3 and issues #2 for Swamp Thing, Harley Quinn, Superman of Metropolis, The Flash, and Wonder Woman. That's the Yara Flora version for those keeping up. As always, you amazing humans out there, thank you so very much for listening. You are the reason why we do this. Visit campsite.bio/notarobot to hear all of our episodes on nearly any podcast platform and patreon.com/notarobotpodcasts for all the exclusive content we make for our patrons. Again, starting at just $1 a month. You'll get access to movie reviews, TV show reviews, the comic quick bites, and all the other stuff that we do. You can visit notarobotpodcasts.com, and that will take you everywhere you need to go for everything Not a Robot. And with that, there's only one way we say goodbye around here.
Until next time.
Be good to each other.
And don't be a robot.
Productions.